Now let us look at reproduction in fungus. So there are a variety of reproduction. See, both asexual and sexual reproduction is taking place by different means. Now sometimes vegetative reproduction also is referred to as or taken into consideration as an asexual reproduction. And sometimes it is segregated into another category like vegetative propagation we have seen in plants, right? So similar to that, this category is there, vegetative reproduction, in which fragmentation, fission, and budding sometimes is considered as vegetative reproduction, and reproduction through asexual spores like conidia, sporangiospores and zoospores is considered as asexual reproduction. We will study all these methods in detail. Then sexual reproduction can be through sexual spores like oospores, ascospores and basidiospores. An important thing you should know over here is what is a fruiting body. See, spores are produced within some structures like we have seen sporangiospores. These are produced within a bag-like or sac-like structures called as sporangium. So such you can say distinct structures in which spores are produced are referred to as fruiting bodies. So let us look how fragmentation happens in a fungus. So fungal mycelium you can see over here. Can you see it is divided into, segregated into small pieces? Now these small pieces, like if I look here, this small piece can grow into a full mycelium. That is what fragmentation is. Fragments means the mycelium is divided into different fragments and each fragment can give rise to a new mycelia. Now let us see what fission is. Fission means that the cell is undergoing a cytoplasmic and nuclear divisions to form two daughter cells. Like we have seen binary fission in amoeba. Yes, similar to that in fungus also fission can happen. Next is budding. From the term budding, it is clear that a bud or a new outgrowth is formed and from that new organism is formed. So it is happening generally in unicellular organism like yeast. So outgrowth will be formed and this new bud under suitable condition, it will segregate or it can form chains. So when the conditions are suitable, these buds will you can say separate and develop into a mature yeast. All right. Next is formation of conidia, which is asexual spore, also called as chlamydospore. It is a non-motile spore and it is born externally. It is produced externally. Like we have seen sporangiospore, it is produced inside a sac-like structure. But conidia, they are produced outside these structures. Okay, that is why they are called conidia. So sporangiospore is clear. They are born inside a sporangium. These are asexual non-motile spores. Then zoospores, these are motile asexual spores. So that is how they are different from the other spores. So zoospores, you can see over here, it is shown that inside a zoosporangium it is born and then they are released with a flagella. Okay, that is why these are referred to as zoospores. Next, let us see what oospores are. These are thick-walled zygote because we are talking about the sexual spores. So it is a zygote only. You can see over here inside oogonium, which is the fruiting body, it is born, and these are the oospores. Ascospores, see, almost similar type of spores are there. Only the difference is in which fungi they are produced and in which fruiting body they are produced. That is why names are different. So ascospores, they are contained in an ascus. You can see over here this ascus, it is containing around 8 ascospores. All right. Then basidiospore. Basidiospore again is a sexual spore which is produced outside a basidium. Again, they are externally born on the basidium. So this is the fruiting body. All right, depending on the fruiting body and the spore structure, there are different types. Inside oogonium, it is oospore. Inside an ascus, it is ascospore. And born externally on the basidium, it is basidiospores. Next, coming to the sexual cycle in fungus, how the sexual reproduction is taking place. Listen to it very carefully. It is an important concept. It occurs in 3 steps. First, understand the definitions. Then by diagram, we are going to understand. Firstly, plasmogamy occurs. Gamy means fusion. Plasmo means here we are referring to the protoplasm. And what are fusing? Protoplasm of the gametes. They will fuse with each other. Okay. Then karyogamy. Karyon is nucleus. So fusion of nucleus will take place. Meiosis we know is a reductional division. So a zygote will be formed after these processes, and later on this zygote is going to undergo meiosis to form haploid spores. So let us look at it over here. So let's get started by at this point. So here hyphae is shown. See, plus and minus means we are here referring to two different hyphae. Okay, maybe one male gamete, another female gamete. All right, so that fusion of the cells will happen, that is plasmogamy. And then if we are talking about ascospores, maybe inside an ascus this is happening. Okay, so inside this ascus, if we are talking about the ascospores, later on it will form. So there will be fusion of two nucleus, that is called as karyogamy. Now when this is occurring, sometimes what happens, instead of fusion of two nuclei like this, okay, see what is happening, plasmogamy, and then two nuclei are fusing with each other and forming a zygote. Sometimes instead of fusion, what happens, the hyphae, they undergo a phase that is called as dikaryotic phase. What happens? After the fusion of protoplasm, two nuclei are there. They will sit next to each other. They will not fuse. They will enter this dikaryotic phase where they are just sitting next to each other in the protoplasm. And after some time, karyogamy is happening and then fusion is happening to produce zygote. Now zygote is diploid. It will undergo meiosis and produce spores if we are talking about ascospores. All right. Or there can be conidia. Also it can be produced. Okay, so depending on the spores, irrespective of whether it is ascospores, whether these are conidia, the process remains the same. Two gametes are going to fuse. First protoplasm is going to fuse, then the nucleus is going to fuse, finally a zygote will be formed and it will be diploid, and later on by meiosis the reductional division will take place and spores will be formed. So next, the kingdom fungi is further divided into different classes. Now, what is the basis of this division of kingdom fungus into various classes? One is morphology of the mycelium. What is morphology? Means appearance, how the mycelium look like. Then how the spores are formed and what type of fruiting bodies are formed. So depending on these, there are four different classes. One is called Phycomycetes, Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes and Deuteromycetes. Let us look in a very simplified table how these differ. Let us first see Phycomycetes. Nutrition, these are obligate parasites. Obligate means compulsive, means they are always parasitic with plants and they can also feed on decaying wood. The mycelium, it is aseptate cenocytic, means it is like this. Okay, no septa is formed, no cross wall. Reproduction generally happens asexually with the formation of zoospores and aplanospores. So zoospores, we know these are motile. Aplanospores, these are non-motile. They are like zoospores, only structural difference, what is there? No motility, means flagella is absent in aplanospores. Now zygospore is formed after the fusion of the cells. And if sexual reproduction is there, gametes can be isogamous or anisogamous. So isogamous means the male and female gamete are similar, and anisogamous means the male and female gamete structurally they are different. Examples: Rhizopus, which is generally referred to as bread mold; Albugo, which is parasitic on mustard. Next, coming to Ascomycetes. Ascomycetes are sac fungus because they grow inside ascus. We have seen ascospores. So nutritionally they are saprophytic, they are decomposers and coprophilous. Coprophilous means they feed on dung, okay, the excreta. Then they are branched and septate. So means like this branching is there and the septa is also present like this. Asexually, they produce conidia, and sexually, they produce ascospores. That is why ascomycetes. And the fruiting body in which like ascus is there, the fruiting body is can be called as ascus or ascocarp. Examples are Neurospora, which is widely used to study the genetics of fungi, yeast, which is unicellular, claviceps, penicillium, and morels and buffles. These are edible type of fungi, so these are also referred to as edible delicacies. Next, coming to Basidiomycetes. Basidiomycetes, nutritionally, they are parasites, rusts and smuts, means a type of disease they are causing, generally in the crops, and they grow in the soil and on logs, on woods. Again, they are branched and septate. Vegetative reproduction takes place by fragmentation. Then dikaryon can be formed and it gives rise to basidium. Examples are agaricus, which is generally called mushroom, astilago, which is referred to as smut fungus, and Puccinia, the rust fungus. Okay, so basidiospores are formed in Basidiomycetes. Next is Deuteromycetes or imperfect fungi. Why we are calling it imperfect? Because no sexual reproduction is observed in these organisms, these fungus. So initially, when sexual reproduction was not observed in other classes like Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes, they were put in Deuteromycetes only. Later on, when sexual reproduction was confirmed, then they were put in different categories. And Deuteromycetes, no sexual stages are there, only asexual conidia are formed. The mycelium are again branched and septate. These are saprophytes and parasitic, and they are the major decomposers which help in the mineral cycling. Examples are Alternaria, Coletotrichum, and Trichoderma. Next is kingdom Plantae. Now, plants are included in this kingdom. These are eukaryotes and contain chlorophyll. Now, plants are autotrophic, we know, but certain exceptions are there, like they are partially heterotrophic. Over here it is written. So some plants like insectivorous plants called as bladderwort and Venus flytrap, they are heterotrophs. They can be parasitic like amarbale, which is cuscuta. It also includes algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms, which we are going to study later on. And the important feature is they show alternation of generation. Alternation means there are two phases of generation. One is the sporophytic phase, means the diploid phase, and other is gametophytic phase, which is haploid phase, and they alternate one after the other in plant. This phase comes. Next, kingdom Animalia means animals. These are heterotrophic eukaryotes. They don't have cell wall. And the food reserve material is glycogen or fat. The mode of nutrition is holozoic, means they take up large chunks of food. Sensory and neuromotor mechanism means they are intelligent organisms, and sexual reproduction takes place in such organisms. Now, last part of the chapter includes organisms which are not placed in 5 kingdom classification. So let us look at it. So viruses, viroids and lichens, these are not placed in the 5 kingdom classification. So let us see why they are not put in 5 kingdom classification. First is viruses, which is a very hot topic these days. Coronavirus, we will also, I have also one slide of coronavirus. These are not truly living, means these are obligate parasite. Outside the host, they cannot do harm. But once they enter the host, they are going to use their machinery and they are going to destroy many cells. So crystalline structure, which is inert, means it is not active outside the host. Host means in the body of the organism where they are going to multiply. Now, firstly, this term was given by Pasteur Ivanovsky. He gave the virus term because it means venom or poisonous fluid. Then later on, it was seen by Byring that there is an infectious fluid. Which infectious fluid they are talking about? Like Ivanovsky, he saw that tobacco mosaic virus, means there is a disease of tobacco plant That causative agent, that virus, initially it was not known that it was virus. So the organism causing tobacco mosaic disease was thought to pass through bacteria proof filters, means it was smaller than bacteria. So Byring called this fluid as infectious fluid or contagium vivum fluidum, which means infectious living fluid. Later on, there was a scientist, Stanley, who showed that these viruses can be crystallized also and their structure can be studied. So regarding their structure, they can contain either RNA or DNA, never both. Generally, they have a protein coat which is very, very strong and giving them protection, called as capsid. And this protein coat is made up of small subunits which is called as capsomeres. So we can call virus as a nucleoprotein, means it is containing the nucleic acid, that is RNA or DNA, and protein, which is capsid. Diseases what it can cause: mumps, smallpox, influenza, AIDS, and COVID-19, that is coronavirus infectious disease 2019. Symptoms in plants can be mosaic formation, means patterns are formed, yellow patches or like brown patches, leaf curls, leaf rolling, yellowing and vein clearing, dwarfing, means the plant is undergoing stunted growth. Such type of symptoms are there. So let us look at the structures which are given in your NCERT. This is a tobacco mosaic virus which is containing capsid. Just see the structure, and it is containing RNA. Then there is something called as bacteriophage. What are bacteriophages? Viruses which can infect bacteria. Just see. There are certain viruses which can infect bacteria, and such viruses are called as bacteriophage. So this is a structure: head, collar, and details, very detailed structure is shown over here. Now this I have included for your knowledge sake, because these days lockdown is happening, everything is being like our nation is suffering. So we should know how this coronavirus looks like. See, coronavirus or COVID-19, it mainly infects your respiratory system. Okay, so the structure is something like this. Outside structure, you can see it looks something like this, and it is having, if we see the internal structure, it is containing RNA as the genetic material, and variety of proteins are there. That is how it is different from SARS virus. You remember SARS virus was not in our country. Severe acute respiratory syndrome is also caused by a coronavirus. But this is different from the novel coronavirus. Why we are saying novel? Because of these different proteins which is present on their structure. So these proteins, it help us to easily identify human cell and destroy it. Now it is named as SARS-CoV-2, means it is a variant of the SARS coronavirus. All right. Next, coming to viroids. What are viroids actually? They are free RNA, means unlike viruses, they are not having protein coat, only RNA is there. So they are such type of organisms was observed in potato spindle tuber disease and discovered by P.O. Diner. So last part of the chapter is lichens. Lichens, we have seen, these are the symbiotic associations between algae and fungus. The algal component in this association is called phycobiont, and the fungal component is called mycobiont. Actually, this term you should remember. Phyco is related with algae and myco is related with fungi. And lichens are pollution indicators. Pollution indicators means that in polluted areas you will not see lichens. So wherever pollution is there, lichens are absent. So here you can see on the tree such patches you might have seen. Okay, these are called lichens. So thank you, students. I hope it is clear to you. And if in case if you have any doubt in this chapter, you can contact me.